the Islamic threat continues to rise. Several Islamic cowards who spoke perfect and fluent French stormed the offices of Charlie Hebdo, a French magazine dedicated to political satire, and murdered 11 of the unarmed men and women inside, many of which were cartoonists and editors for the magazine. An unarmed police officer responding to the scene vainly begged for his life and was the 12th victim of what can only be described as a military operation carefully planned and practiced, then skillfully carried out. French President Nicolas Sarkozy immediately called the attack an act of terror. For some reason, it took White House Press Secretary Josh Earnest most of the day to get caught up.
You keep using the word violence. I mean, this is an act of terrorism. That's what the president of France called it, an act of terrorism. Do you see this as an act of terrorism, and is this something that has to be condemned on that level?
I think based on what we know right now, it does seem like that's what we're confronting here. And this is an act of violence that we certainly do condemn, if based on this investigation it turns out to be an act of terrorism, then we would condemn that in the strongest possible terms, too.
Even CNN understood this was an act of terror before he did. The murderer's dress was typical of Islamic militants. They cried out the familiar Allahu Akbar before and during the attack. They even claimed to have avenged Muhammad. But the White House still needed a slide rule to figure this out. This is the same White House that wanted to sanction Israel for building housing in their own country, that called the Islamic attack at Fort Hood workplace violence, and this administration, along with the mainstream media, blames the judgment of the magazine rather than speak out against Islamic militants. What's it going to take, folks? Why is it so hard for liberals to see the Islamic threat? Thanks for listening, and be sure to catch the weekly Ray Warner Show and subscribe on iTunes or at theraywarnershow.com.